We're going now. Okay.
Okay.
Good evening and good morning to everyone. This is a Buddha Sasana program, the program of the Cambodian Buddhist Monk Society. Before we begin on our topic today, I would like to pay my homage to the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha with my higher respect, and also my respect to all venerable monks who are watching this program. And I also would like to welcome to venerable monks here to Buddha Sasana program. So before I begin, I would like to inform you that this is the series of the Maha Mangala Sutta, the discourse of the highest blessing. So today we are fortunate to have two venerable monks from Singapore and venerable from Battambang, Cambodia, venerable V. Sovichia and venerable Anoma. Let me check a little bit. Venerable, can you put your phone a little bit far from your laptop so we don't get the
Disturbing.
Disturbing. So, but just put it a little bit far from your laptop.
How's it now?
Yes, it's better now. But it's still like the sound. Oh, yeah, it's better now. Can you hear us, right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I would like to start with you, Venerable Anoma, to talk on this topic. I know you know that you've been assigned to talk on the last stanza, which is what having fulfilled such blessings is being victorious. But before I going to talk on that, I would like to ask you on the meaning of Mangala Sutta. I mean the blessings. What is blessings in Buddha's terms? Can you share with us first?
Thank you very much for the Bantes. Also, I'm very happy to be with you this morning here in Singapore. So, Mangala Sutta is very common sutta in our all Buddhist traditions. Mangala is refraining from unwholesome, going towards wholesome. We can simply define the Mangala in that way. On the other hand, we can understand in the context that Sutta was explained. It was explained actually during the deities and the human beings were not very clear about what is exactly blessing or auspicious. So with that background, we understand people are not very much clear. They are going to certain places for their well-being. So Buddha very clearly mentioned here those things that people are chasing after is not fruitful. So therefore, Buddha very beginning established ordinary people in mundane right understanding. We call Laukika Samadhi. From that level, the person can move towards supramundane Samadhi. So I think all Sutta is about that.
Yeah, that is a very straight to the point. You know, in our Buddhist countries and in some countries, we usually assume that if you want blessings, you go to the temple and pray to the Buddha and pray or ask monk to bless you. But in this Mangala Sutta, the Buddha told us to put those things into practice. Then you will having blessings. For example, like we start from the beginning, you know, associate with the wise, and distance yourself from the fool, then you will have blessings. So yeah, that's why I just want you to start with this in order to clarify the meaning of the blessings that the Buddha intend to teach us, and we need to follow his steps in order to have some sort of blessings in our life. So yes, I would like to turn this question also to Venerable V. Sovichia from Battambang, Cambodia, and once again, thank you for joining us. You know, we have been having technical issues for many times. So yeah, still you having more effort to join us again. So yes, and you welcome to the program, and thank you for your effort to join us. And I would like to ask you the same question. So what did you understand on blessings that the Buddha has explained in this sutta? So thank you.
At first, I would like to pay my homage to the triple gems, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And I also would like to respect the most venerable Athamani Mangsang, the president of Cambodian Buddhist Monks Society, USA, and also respect to Venerable Dr. Yon Sen Yit, director of SBU, Buddhist University Phnom Penh, and also would like to pay respect to Venerable Anoma from Singapore, and also would like to pay all respect to Venerable Moderator Kaisupia. It's very nice indeed with me to try 2 times for these talk shows. And also, I would like to pay respect to all venerable monks inside and outside Cambodia, and say hello to all devotees who are watching this program. I am very honored to be invited to join this program. And referring to your question related to Mangala Sutta, I think many key speakers have mentioned about the meaning of Mangala Sutta. And for my understanding, Mangala Sutta or Mangala means happiness, prosperity, and peace. And for these things, all people, as well as animals, we need to have it. But based on our Buddhist doctrine, Buddhist principle, the Buddhas would like us to earn this Mangala Sutta by our own self, more than trying to ask from others. Because Mangala Sutta need to be earned from ourselves first, and then it will come outside later. So Mangala Sutta is happiness and prosperities and peace need to be earned from ourselves, based on my understandings.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, I always started with this question because we need to share our different perspective on what is blessings, and of course most of the venerable monks have similar ideas and understanding on these particular suttas. So yes, Venerable Anoma, I would like to start with you. In you're being assigned to explain for the last version of this sutta, which is Eta Tisa Nikatwa. So here the Buddha has mentioned on the, having fulfilled such blessings, this being victorious everywhere. So what did the Buddha mean by that? How can you be a victorious everywhere if you are having this kind of all of these blessings? Could you please explain a little bit on this particular point? Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
forgot
which
the
year?
name.
Yes, which year? Yeah.
Yeah, the one they mentioned about the Mangala Sutta.
Hold on. Pandey, can you turn off your sound on your laptop? So you only have one voice from your mobile phone. So there is a point that there's a key that you can turn off your. No, it's not still. Turn off your voice on your sound on your laptop, and then you only use one on your iPhone.
How is it now?
Yes, it's better now. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't have the. Okay, now you can speak.
Okay, now we are going to summarize all the sutta because we have discussed Mangala Sutta in detail. As I mentioned earlier, Mangala Sutta is for a Buddhist practitioner who was before wandering, chasing after many things, who did not have right understanding. Himself with that understanding. So this is very important now. Now, Mangala, when we say that word, people have that idea of blessing. Of course, according to Buddha's teaching, the most important, significant blessing is to have right understanding. When we have right understanding, then all the problems come to collapse, come to end. So at the end, we can say, the Buddha said that Sattvat Sotting Gacchati, so that one fulfill all kind of goodness, wholesomeness, because he has the most important thing in his or her life, that is understanding, right understanding. Until we come to this fully understanding of the life and world, we are wandering. We go to that place, we go to this place, we request this and that. That is because we are not firmly, correctly, accurately established the vision. Now, when we examine one by one all these Mangala factors mentioned in the Mangala Sutta, it is slowly directing us towards the Laukika Sammaditya or Lokika Sammaditya. We call mundane right understanding. When one is more and more mature in this, by practicing, then this person can awaken his clear vision. That means he is about to attain higher spiritual attainments. So it is very nice, very clear, very beautiful. All the Buddha's teaching, which we find in the suttas, they have a direct connection to the noble path. So this also, even though people are sometimes not very much concerned about, giving much more importance to the understanding. When we examine in this way, we can understand this very, very important sutta.
Okay. Yes. So yeah. Can you hear me right? Both
Yes,
both venerables. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me turn, because we Pandey and Oma, we still have some factors here which we didn't explain yet for Venerable V. Sovijaya. So I am going to ask him on that stanza, and so later on we'll sum up and summarize with you. So Venerable Sovijaya, you are assigned to explain the blessing which the Buddha has mentioned: being patient, being obedient, meeting the monks, and discussing the Dharma on suitable times. So I will ask the first point: being patient.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Being patient. What did the Buddha explain on this? Why being patient is a blessing? Could you please go ahead?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pandey. I think to have patience is the greatest blessing in Buddhism. Patience is the highest virtue, and it is clearly certainly one of the most difficult quality to attain. We will always be subject to changings, the most difficulties, the conditions and worries of the people around us. Most of these things are beyond of our control. We allow ourselves to be overly affected by them, and we feel suffered unnecessary stress, happiness, and anger. Also, we need to be patient with ourselves when we make the mistake or slip on the spiritual path. And we need to keep trying our best. That's why patience is the greatest blessing that leads us to forbearance, forgiveness, and tolerance. And also, it allows us to be calm and serene and maintain our cool head and clear mind in any situations. So I think Khanti in Buddhism is more deep meaning than the word patient. It's look like patient with wisdom. It's not like just patient with wisdom, using our wisdom to all any situations that we are facing is the best.
So it is a kind of blessing. But the things that let me exchange with Venerable Anoma here. Can you still hear me, right, Venerable Anoma?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about the patient, being patient, because sometimes I think you observe that people come to sit in your facilities or your temples. Sometimes you're being sitting for too long, and sometimes that some people are wanting to have some food, this and that. So how could you explain this? Because sometimes we often lose patience. We don't have Khanti as Venerable V. Sovijaya has mentioned. So how can we train, in Buddhist perspective, how can we train ourselves to be more patient? And how can being patient is some sort of blessings to our life? So can you share with us and explain on this together? Thank you.
Yeah, actually this is a very important thing to pay attention. Patient, we call Khanti.
Yes.
Khanti. Very often we are impatient.
Yes. Yes.
Question why we are impatient. We know that it is due to either in inner conditions or external conditions. So when we understand the true nature of the world, actually we can reduce our impatience. So So, for an example, few days ago we planned this our discussion.
Yes.
So there were certain technical faults.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good one.
This is a very good example.
At the same time, everything is subject to change.
Yeah.
We cannot control. So let go. Let go is one of the best in the teaching that we get for to practice patience. So every time when we come across this impatience, we can tell ourselves that things are not under our control. Certain things, of course, we can do, but certain things comes together with some other conditions, causes and conditions. So those causes and conditions may change. When they are changing, then we cannot expect the result that we expected before. So therefore, then we need this kind of understanding. So what makes us impatient is ignorance in a way. Not knowing, not having clear comprehension. We do not know what is going on, what is happening. Then we have to establish mindfulness. We must know what is happening at the moment, who I am. So certain things necessary to have patience, and also then to train this process of patience we call kanti. So whenever we get agitated, then actually it is a good opportunity for us to learn more and more. This is a good place, good opportunity, good lesson to improve. They are not negative things actually. We can welcome it. So then next time I can face the situation with more strength. Then that is what Buddha mentioned in even the Mangala Sutta actually, what we are talking. Apart from the kanti, worldly conditions are there. Always it is there. Then we must be able to make our mindset not to be agitated simply because of external causes and conditions. But it is not easy. We can say. Saying is very easy.
Yes.
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 So, but when we say it, then naturally it sinks to our mind. Then it will be active in our process verbally, physically, and mentally. That is what we need. Basically, we have to avoid these two things. So, verbal and physical impatientness with understanding. So, sometimes we use the harsh words.
Yeah.
We should use physical harm to others. So, we have to control by observing precepts. But it is still not completed. Then we need more understanding. That is why I mentioned earlier, right understanding is very important. With right understanding, this patient will be further and further improved.
Yeah. Bhante, it is a very straight to the point. You know, we are being agitated in every subtle moment in life, not just, you know, we mostly couldn't control it. It's not only we a monk, but I think in general, people are facing it in every day, whether you are students, whether you are parents, whether you are working. You know, we facing this kind of agitation, and when we don't have patience, and it is impossible for us to control, to have some sort of control. And then when we do not have control, and then things when badly mistaken in our workplace, or especially in a temple, I think many of us experience when we explain things to the people and people didn't follow, and then some people come and couldn't sit for long and said they complain about, oh, I'm so painful while sitting, it's time for this. You know, it. So I think in life, in every moment, and every one of us experiencing this impatient, and if you do not have kanti, it is impossible for us to overcome it. So, and I guess there's a very important point that we all need to, especially with this.
Yeah.
I am doing this program more almost every week, and sometimes we have some technical issues, and sometimes it's very frustrating. Sometimes because we expected things to be like what we want it to be, but then when it is time, it happened with another things. So yeah, I think it happens to all of the people in their life, and for your point, it both of you have mentioned is very useful, and then we all need, one of the important things that this this kanti, when we are facing that situation, for me, it is an opportunity to train your patient, to train oneself to be more patient, so we can overcome it, and we can keep moving. But if we are not being patient, and then we will be struck down by impatient feeling. So it is the way that they obstruct you not to grow. But if you're having patience, you will keep growing. So yes, this is very very meaningful, and it is very touching. So so I would like to go with Venerable Visovijaya with the next point, with the next blessings. The Buddha has mentioned being obedient. Being obedient. What did the Buddha mean by being obedient? Particular blessing. So could you please explain? Thank you.
Yeah, in Pali word we saw sovajasata, to listen the advice. As a human beings, we need to make ourselves to be easy to be trained by others, by people around us. Sometimes, if we have too plenty of ego, like we did something wrong or we do something wrong, and then we do not accept others' advice. So it's really hard for us to harmonize ourselves with oneself and others in our communities. So that's why we find many people find it difficult to listen to advice, much less accept criticism or have their fault or mistake pointed out to them. However, we cannot acquire a deeper knowledge or make true progress if pride and stubbornness stand in our way. So openness and acceptance, and also humility, when corrected, are necessary for us because we are not perfect. We need to be told by others every day. Sometimes like we are master, we are the abbot of the temple. Sometimes we are too much proud of our leadership. So sometimes we lose our patience, and then we do not listen to others as well. So I think leaders as well as normal people, we need to be advised from other people. Like we need to get reinstructive feedback from others in order to improve ourselves, in order to improve our communities.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So Venerable Anoma, I would like to turn that point to you as well. As the Buddha has mentioned here, for the last one, to fulfill those blessings, you will gain happiness everywhere. So what did the Buddha? How can we fulfill that, being patient and being obedient to well, here is the rule of the Buddha, Vinaya. So if we obey the rules, then we will get happiness. So how can we explain that to the public? Could you please share with us your perspective on this? Thank you.
Thank you, Bante Sophia, and Venerable Sochias, and all our listeners, dumb listeners. So this is very important thing that we further must discuss. And of course, when we are, as Bante mentioned, that when we are engaged in these daily activities also, though we are teachers, masters, of course, we have to have self-reflection. With the self-reflection, only we can overcome our faults. So all the time we have to have a self-reflection. And Venerable Sophia asked about how to practice as a layperson, right?
I mean, how when we fulfill this this practice, I mean, when we have being fulfilled by this Mangala Sutta. So how can yeah, those factors, and then the question is how can we gain happiness everywhere? I mean, how can we explain this by putting those factors into practice? And the Buddha has mentioned at the last one that will gain happiness everywhere. So why fulfilling or why practicing those factors and then we can gain happiness everywhere? So how can we explain this to the people?
Yeah, actually, it is very important. That's why I say sometimes even in our Buddhist traditions think this sutta very simply, but I think this is one of the very important sutta that we must pay attention.
Yes.
But they're not paid attention enough. That means we all should have a clear understanding of overall Buddha's teaching. Overall does not mean that all the Tripitaka suttas or the content of the Dhamma. That means we must understand the Dhamma with regard to our life experience. So whether we are a monk, whether we are a layperson, we all experience. We experience sometimes negative, we experience positive. So there is a place that we always learning process. Every moment we are learning. But we are not good enough to pay attention to that particular moment. We miss most important lesson from that point. So this understanding is very important. At least basic understanding must be there to have that happiness. That understanding, we explore, examine. So this, it is necessary to explore and examine the teaching. What Buddha exactly said. We always normally listen to the teachers and explanation, but we do not have a critical thinking. So critical thinking, because Sutta-maya Jnana, we listen, but we need then critical thinking. We have to examine everything by ourselves, individually. Then we know how to connect all these together. We know the whole picture. When we understand this whole picture, we know how the problems are coming up. When we know that happiness already arises, now we know, I know this is the problem. This problem came from this way and that way. Slowly I can untie all the tangles tied together.
I see.
Then, even looking at that way, one can have joy, happiness. So, no matter whether they are monastic or non-monastic, I suppose what is most important thing is to have critical thinking, listening, critical thinking. So, one can read, chant this sutta, but it does not mean he can get all the blessings. But it's mentioned here.
Yes.
Have memory, right?
Yeah. I'm asking this because sometimes as we have mentioned, and being patient is the highest blessings in here. Because sometimes it's too much. But for those who have not attained a certain stage in the practice, the longer you being patient, the feeling that the suffering the feeling of agitation, of the suffering feeling is is existing within us, and sometimes so that's why the question is, how long do we have to go? How long do we have to be patient with it, with the things that we are facing? So, and then the Buddha has mentioned that and being patient. So in all of this, then at the end you will gain happiness. So that's why for those who have not experienced the truth happiness, and then we are suspected, we doubt, we feel like it's too much patience, and then it still never ended, and then so that's why I want you to clarify, because that it is important to have a critical thinking skill. So then we can look beyond the facts and see the realities in life. So this turn to the next one. So I would like to ask Venerable Vijaya again. The Buddha has mentioned here that meeting the monks and discuss the Dhamma is also one of the highest blessings. So why, sometimes it's a very tricky question, because that's why only seeing the monk and discuss the Dhamma we can have blessing, because sometimes they are not only come to see the monk, but they come and ask the monk to give them blessings, and then to perform mostly rituals things, and it's a lot of confusion here. So Venerable Vijaya, can you clarify on this? So why meeting the monks and discuss the Dhamma is one of the highest blessings here? So thank you.
Okay. Samananang cha nidyasanang etamang kalamotamang, to associate with monks and also spiritual guru. Here, it doesn't mean that just only venerable monks. Like, we also refer to spiritual guru, that he can guide us. Meeting with such people give us the opportunities to learn from them and to derive encouragement and inspirations from their wisdom and serenity. And sometimes it also reminds us that there is more in this world, more than sensual and materials, and show us that there are many who are really well on the spiritual path. Being with such people would motivate us to practice. Just an example, like we practice 4 sublime state of minds: loving kindness, metta, and compassion, karuna, and sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. That because for these things cultivate noble qualities will bring our mind to a spiritual and heavenly states. So that's why I think associate with monk, like we build a lot of great chance for us to talk with them, to do good merits, to learn good example of them. Just an example, if we see the picture of the monk, that he has patience, he listens patiently, and it can motivate us to follow him. Mm-hmm. It leads us to spiritual path, Venerable.
Yeah, thank you so much. So Venerable Anoma, I think you experienced the same thing when I was in Singapore as well. People come to the temple and ask us to perform a blessing for them. And it is very common. It's not only in Singapore, but mostly some of the Buddhist countries, specifically in Cambodia. People coming to the temple, and usually they at the first start, when they are experiencing suffering from back home, like they're facing difficulties in life and obstacles and a lot of suffering things, so they have nowhere to go, and then temple is the solution, and especially the monk is one of the solution that they think that some famous monk or some powerful monk, they assume that could perform some kind of power, some kind of blessings that could eliminate their suffering immediately. So can you share with us here why the Buddha has mentioned that meeting the monks and discuss the Dhammas is the highest blessings? So what would be your perspective on this? So could you please share with us here? Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. This is the most important factor, one of the most important factor, sharing Dhamma, sharing the teaching of Buddha. So the Buddha mentioned that if we do not share, so Dhamma does not flourish. Nobody knows about Dhamma. So that is why it is very much appreciated, even this program. Now many people, those who are interested in listening to this, they come across the Dhamma. You know, sometimes it is not very profound teaching that awaken one's mind. Very beginning maybe simply monk sight or the first few words may change one's life, whole entire life. But furthermore, we always explain main teaching of the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's Dhamma, Buddha Dhamma. Then people understand what exactly Buddha said, how it is, how simple it is. And we must take much more time to share the Dhamma. Because it is very clear that one cannot have peace of mind just simply shallow practices that no many meanings. So even though we understand the people can have a blessing by listening to chanting, also by chanting itself, no doubt there is a blessing. But that blessing is not enough. That blessing is simply calming down for temporary.
Yeah.
After getting up from the seat, right?
Yes.
Again, our mind comes to that particular problem. So the Buddha always addressed the point, main problem, main issue. So we must not forget that main issue in our life. It's a central point. So every time the monastics, therefore, must take time to explain this. While we are doing all the other things mean we can chant, we can give blessing. These are included. We can tell them this is a temporary solution. We can calm their mind. But the most important thing is understand. Understanding does not come merely. It does not happen. But it needs explanation of Dhamma. That is why Dhamma discussion is very important. So even it is mentioned in furthermore, because that there are certain factors for the attainment of higher attainments. For that also, it is included as one factor, Dhamma discussion. So that is why it is mentioned here. Discussion is very important. Discussion, especially discussion does not happen only one side, but two ways.
Yeah.
They explain, they listen, they have a doubt, and they question. So this way of sharing is very important. That's why it's important.
Yes. Okay, Pandey, yeah, we are approaching to the end of this program. So I will give each of you 2 minutes to share your message of encouragement. How can you inspire people to see the realities in life, and then most importantly, put this blessing into practice in their life, so that we have a true blessings in their life without just coming to the temple, but practicing those blessings can help them overcome their suffering as well. So I would like to start with Venerable Visovichir. So what would be your message to the people, to the public, and to the people who are listening? How can you inspire them to put this practice into practice, so they could have a true happiness and a true blessings in their life? So thank you.
And thank you very much, Venerables, for both Venerable who shared a great idea to all of us. We can say that because we are discussing on the Dhamma, especially on Mangala Sutta. And I think Mangala Sutta is one of the sutta that the Buddha or Buddhism mentioned about the way of life. If we would like to have a prosperous life, we would like our community to have happiness, our country happiness, or the world have happiness, we need to practice. We need to practice. To understand, and then without practice is not doesn't work well. So that's why the level of studying in Buddhism, like we talking about to study by patipati, and to study, to practice, and to get the results. Pariyati, padipati, and to padiveta. So if we would like to realize the importance, the advantages of Mangala Sutta, so just put it, experience with it. That's why I think it's quite important for us. If we just understand without practice, it doesn't work. So like we can experience ourselves in our daily life. I think it's very quite important. If people practice this Mangala Sutta, it will lead the world without war, without any conflicts. We are living in one communities and harmony.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, what is your take, Venerable Anoma? What is your take on this? What would be your message of encouragement to the people to see the realities, to see these factors and put these factors into practice? So, could you please share your perspective here for the last session here? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bhante, Suchia, and also Sophia. So actually, we discussed very important Dhamma factors which are related to the Mangala Sutta. Now we understand Mangala Sutta is a gateway for the understanding of the Buddha's teaching, because ordinary people, we call those who are engaged in daily activities, may not have clear understanding what the Buddha said. So this is the gateway. They will come with their problems to us. When they come to monastics, then we have to give them something more than that what they are expecting. That is a Dhamma. So when they get that, they will think, they will rethink about what they got as Dhamma. So these factors especially, actually when we explain one by one, these are very, very helpful. That those factors mentioned here create, as I mentioned earlier, mundane right understanding, which is foundation for the fully understanding. So this is very important. So respecting elderly people, looking after their own parents, these are very, very important. So those who do not believe karma and result of karma may not practice these things. So therefore, they need this understanding karma, result of karma, rebirth. So this is why it is very important. And I take this opportunity especially to thank Venerable Dr. Yong Sengit, my Kalyana Mitta. He invited me kindly in this program, so I'm very happy. And also I thank Venerable Sochia and Sophia. I came across your talk some time ago. I was so happy to see.
Thank you.
Also, it's a very, very good Dhamma program, I think, in the world. So
Thank you.
I wish all of you good health, happiness, and all the success.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
both,
you.
both Venerable. So once again, I am very fortunate to have both of you on this program for today and tonight. And I thank you again for being patient. And as you know that we have some technical issues here. So thank you so much for your effort and to join and share your Dhamma with the publics. And I hope that people will be benefited from your ideas, your Dhammas, your knowledge here, your wisdom. So may all of them be well and happy. So lastly, I would like to once again thank you all venerable monks who are watching this, all the people who are watching this. May all of you be blessed and stay safe from this COVID-19, and be mindful. Most importantly, that be mindful living your life with sati, with mindfulness. So then we all will be overcome this pandemic together and live a happy life. So thank you so much once again. Thank you so much. And may all of you be blessed, and thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. Thank you.